For this one, I'll turn off my camera because I want people to pay attention to the demos. I'll turn it back on when we get to question and answers. All right, so good morning, everyone. This is the final presentation, the fifth presentation that we've done together. And the focus of this presentation, if you've been attending, I think I recognize some names who have attended all of them. The focus of today's presentation would be for those of you who don't have an Instagram business profile, hopefully you'll be able to follow along. I have a lot of screenshots and video and some demo stuff, and actually build an Instagram business profile. And if you already have an Instagram profile, I find that there are also always new things that you can learn in terms of making sure that you're maximizing your presence. As usual, the series is brought to you by the American Library Association, Harrison Public Library, the Public Library Association, and funded by a grant with Grow with Google. You will be getting a copy of this presentation, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me via email or even social media, and I'd be more than happy to help you with anything that you run into problems with going forward. So this is going to be the overview of what we covered today. Quick review of Instagram user stats for anybody that missed last week's session. Quick review of the benefits of using Instagram for business. We take a look at some business features, and then I will point you in the direction, especially since Instagram is mobile based, of where you can look for additional resources even after this webinar to help you as you actually build your profiles out more. And then we're going to have as much as a hands-on segment as we can have, putting together an Instagram business profile. And then if anybody has had a profile that you would like me to give you a critique on, I'd be happy to do so. You would have to, of course, log in on the computer and share your screen so I can see it. Or if there was anyone who didn't have a profile and actually set it up as we were going through the steps and you wanted me to make sure that you did it correctly, I'd be more than happy to do the same. Again, you would have to log into your computer so I can see the screen. And then we'll close off with Q&A, and then we'll all get on with the rest of our week. So let's get started. First, with a quick review. Whenever I think of Instagram, I think of visual. So I like to call Instagram the visual network. And as of this year, Instagram has 112.5 million users. 63% of those people log on at least once a day. Instagram users spend an average of about 28 minutes per day on the platform, and I'm actually surprised that number is as low as it is, because I think even from my own usage, and of course maybe my usage is high because I also manage pages for businesses, but I feel like I spend a whole lot more than 28 minutes on Instagram. And I know for sure that my my older daughter in her 20s, which is the main demographic that uses Instagram, spends a lot more than 28 minutes. 200 million Instagrammers visit at least one business profile daily, and engagement with brands on Instagram is 10 times higher than Facebook. A third of the most viewed stories are from businesses, so this is definitely setting up the case for setting up a business profile. 130 million Instagram users tap on shopping posts every day. And Instagram represents 10.7% of the social referral share to e-commerce sites. So if you have an e-commerce site, meaning that you sell products online or maybe even services online, then definitely Instagram is a place that you should be putting some focus on. And overall, 11% of US social media users shop on Instagram. So hopefully you're convinced that having an Instagram business profile will pay off for your business. It's not only about personal usage. The benefits for using Instagram for business, of course, it's an amazing visual showcase. So if you have products that are visually appealing, you should definitely take a look at Instagram. Like we saw before, Instagram drives more engaged traffic than any other social channel. And research shows that when comparing time on sites from various channels, so this is time on your website, Instagram beats out other sites like Facebook, as we just saw, Pinterest, YouTube, Reddit, and more. Using Instagram on your site allows you to connect with customers across multiple channels and increase cross-channel engagement. And so what we mean by this, if you joined us last week, I went over this in depth. But for example, let's say you display photos from your Instagram account on your website. And many of you may notice that when you go to someone's website these days and you scroll down to the bottom, you can actually see an active Instagram feed being showcased at the bottom of their website. So that's what I'm referring to. When a customer is browsing on your site, they may not already be following you on Instagram. However, once they see that feed, they then become interested and they go ahead and follow you there as well. If you don't already have solid user-generated content, so meaning this is content that your actual customers are posting about your product or service, Instagram is actually one of the best social networks to have your users easily reshare or tag you into the content, their product endorsements or their reviews. And so as a marketing strategy, you may want to consider including an Instagram business profile and asking your happy customers to reshare their experiences by tagging you on Instagram. And it's very easy to do so there. So that is a marketing strategy. Since Facebook bought Instagram a few years ago, you are also able to share digital ad spend with Facebook. And so for the same ad budget, and it can be a small ad budget, say like $300, you can actually run ads on both Facebook and Instagram through the Facebook ad manager. And actually ads is the last thing that I'll cover in today's presentation. And we'll just do a quick review on there are three main ways that you can run ads on Instagram. So we'll just do a quick review on what those ways are. And then, of course, you have access to post insights. So on a personal profile, you may see that you have XYZ number of followers, but you don't necessarily get to see who those people are. On a business profile, you will be able to actually see the demographic information of those people, when they're most active, where they're coming from, how they are interacting with your content, very similar to the Facebook Insight structure. All right, so to get more information on Instagram business profiles, I highly recommend that you take a look at these two resources. This first one is by Instagram themselves. And it's just, if you just Google Instagram for business, you will be taken, did I hyperlink this one? Yeah, let's go ahead and look at. You will be taken to Instagram's page that will, well, my computer is not, hold on, let me just go out live to it then. My presentation doesn't want to make way for the here we go. Perfect. So this is the page that Instagram has put together, and actually we look at some of the stuff on this page later on when we talk about ads, to help you to build out your Instagram profile. You can find case studies here, you can find best practices as to how to manage your Instagram profile. So that's one recommendation, and it's just business.instagram.com that I highly recommend that you guys take a look at. And then the second, oh wow, where did my presentation go? 1 second, you guys. Scroll back really quickly. The second resource would be a resource that Facebook has put together in the Facebook for Business Resource Center, which I went through in depth when I covered the Facebook class. And here you can find, you know, especially as it relates to the Facebook Business Manager, a lot of resources for managing your Instagram business page. So it's always a good idea to have some place to go to reference, and if it's free, it's even better. So between these two resources, and once you get the presentation, they will be hyperlinked so that you can just click and go to the website. You should be able to fine-tune your Instagram marketing strategy. All right. So let's move forward. Hopefully you guys have your phones or tablets available with you, or it's fine if you just want to look along and try later, that you can either create a profile with or make sure that the profile that you have is actually up to speed based on what we will cover together today. Okay. So in order for you to be recognized as a business on Instagram, you have to either upgrade your personal account if you have been using it to promote your business to an Instagram account, or you have to create a separate Instagram account. And again, the benefits for this, the main profile features would be that you get real-time metrics on how your stories and promoted posts perform throughout the day. You get insights into your followers and how they interact with your posts and stories. And you can add vital information about your company, such as business hours, location, and phone number. So for those of you who need to convert a business account, we will go through the steps together and hopefully you can follow along. And so this is what you would do. You would go to your profile and you would tap the 3 little squares in the upper right corner. Next, you tap settings, and there's also a mini video that follows after this that may be helpful, but I think we need to do this first. Okay, you would tap settings, then tap account. And then the next thing you do is tap switch to professional account and tap business. Is there anybody who's actually trying to do this as I speak, or are you guys just following along for later? Because if nobody is actively doing it, then we can just move along. You guys can feel free to unmute yourself and let me know. Anybody actually doing this? Does everybody already have an Instagram business account?
Yeah, I have created.
Okay,
this.
perfect. Okay.
I do too, so.
Okay, so we can move along. Perfect, thank you. All right, so the next thing that you should do if you already have a Facebook page, and I recommend that you do this early along so that you don't have to worry about going back and doing it later, would be to connect your Facebook business page to your Instagram business page, okay? And so in order to do this, of course, your Instagram account must be converted to an Instagram business account, okay? And your personal Facebook page must have an admin role on the page you'd like to connect to. So they have to speak to each other equally or else it's not going to work. So this is what you do. To add or change the Facebook page that is connected to your Instagram business account, you would go to your Instagram profile, select Edit Profile, then under Public Business Information, select Page. Once you do that, you should be logged into your Facebook account while you're doing this, obviously. Choose a page from your pages that you have access to that you'd like to connect, or you could create a new Facebook page. I highly do not recommend creating a new Facebook page from the Instagram connection screen. If you don't have an existing Facebook page, I would just stop right here and actually go to the desktop and create the Facebook page. Make sure that it's connected to the profile. Obviously, it should be connected to your personal profile, and then go back and do this step. Because things can go wrong if you're trying to actually connect Instagram to Facebook, and then now you have to go connect a Facebook page. So if for whatever reason you don't have a current Facebook page, I would actually do that first before I attempt to connect the 2 pages together, just to avoid any possible problems. All right, so here we have a little mini video that I think walks us through how to go through that process. And let me share my computer sound so you guys can actually hear what's going on. Give me 1 second. The toolbar disappeared. Here we go. Share computer sound. All right. Skip ads.
In 3 months, I've gained upwards of about 10,000 followers. That's right, 10,000.
After now 4 months, I think I
skip.
You how to connect your Facebook business page to your Instagram business page. Now, I made separate videos in the past showing you how to create each of those. Now we're going to look at how to connect them. Now this is a fairly straightforward task. It really shouldn't take that long, so this will be a fairly brief video, but essentially this is a way for you to streamline your work. Now you can either, if you're on Instagram, you can share your posts from Instagram to Facebook and really make it quicker. You don't have to type up 2 posts every day or whenever you post. And then secondly, the other important reason to do this is so that when you go into your Facebook business page and you're managing it there, you can actually manage your Instagram page as well. And so by that, I mean, you can easily look at some analytics for it. You can go and manage your notifications, your messages, and a lot of stuff like that. So as you can see, it really saves you a lot of work, a lot of effort, and a lot of time. And so it makes sense that you might want to be doing this. So without wasting any more time, let's dive in and look at the first way you can do this. Now, I'll show you both ways to connect it. The first way is from the Instagram app. So open up the Instagram app. I just made a brand new Instagram business page here, and I just, Schmeichel O'Brien, that's what I'm calling it, just some random page name. Then we go over to the 3 bars on the right side, and from here you can actually go down to settings. Now within settings, go to business, and then you have a couple options here. So we are going to go to connect or create, and this is how we're connecting or creating a new business page. And assuming that you already have a Facebook business page, what you want to do is connect an existing page. If you don't, make one here, but I really recommend the best way to make a Facebook business page is not through the Instagram app. Really, the best way to do it is through the web browser. So go to Google Chrome, set that up, check out my other video where I show you how to make a proper Facebook business page. But once you have that and it's connected to your personal account, when you open up this right here, as long as you have your personal account signed in on your phone, then you'll have all of your business pages listed. Now, if your page is not listed here, there might be one of 2 things wrong. So either one, your Facebook business page, you signed into a different account on your computer. So I don't know if you have like 2 different partners on the business and one person made the Facebook business page on their Facebook account, and then you on your phone won't see it there unless they make you like an admin or something. Or 2, you're not signed into the same Facebook on your phone. So maybe you just don't have Facebook on your phone. Maybe you didn't sign in, but that would be the other reason it wouldn't show up here. So it almost always should show up there. If not, figure it out, right? So that's basically the first way to make or create it. Now, the second way we want to look at is actually from Facebook Business. So from the Facebook Business page, let's open that up. Okay, so if you guys remember Mike's Barbershop, a recent Facebook page I made. Now from the Facebook page, what you want to do is go up to settings on the top right, click on settings, and it'll open up obviously all of your normal settings. And somewhere along the left side, you should see something that says Instagram. So click on Instagram, and this is a very easy way, honestly, probably even easier to connect this. You just say connect account and it'll automatically pop up. You can sign into your Instagram account here and it will be connected through to, so we're going to say continue as Schmeichel O'Brien, and it should just automatically connect our Instagram to our Facebook page right here. So just like that, we have them connected. And like I said, once you have them connected, you have a lot of options here. You can edit some things in your Instagram page. Of course, you can disconnect it. And if you go over to notifications, you should be able to really bundle everything together here and get your messages from both of them as well as your notifications from both of those. Guys, that's basically all I have to show you. Like I said, this is a fairly short video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope this helped you. If it did, please remember to like and subscribe.
So if anybody attended last week's workshop, you will remember that I spoke about one of the benefits of the Instagram Facebook connection is that you are able to manage your communications from Instagram and Facebook on the through the Facebook inbox manager. So any comments or anything that are made on Instagram, you are able to see them on your Facebook Messenger. I'm just going to stop my share for a second because my computer is acting quirky. Let me make sure that the PowerPoint pops right back up. 1 second. Does anybody, while I'm doing this, does anybody have any questions in terms of that whole connection? If any of you were actually attempting to connect live, were you able to do it by following the directions of either way? Or are you already connected? All right, I'm going to assume that everybody is okay. All right, so a lot of Instagram, because it is visual, relies on the quality of the images and the pictures that you share compared to any other social media network. So you have to make sure that your pictures are of high quality, the videos are of high quality and of appropriate length, because that is what draws people to your content. And Instagram itself has come up with several sort of standalone applications that can be used by regular people. You know, you don't have to have video production skills to do any of these, to actually make the content that you share on Instagram more engagement. And the first one that I like to talk to is Boomerang, and Boomerang has been around for a while, and many of you may have used Boomerang in your personal life. And what Boomerang does is that it makes in the moment experiences a little bit more fun and unexpected by creating a mini video that loops back and forth. And about 25% of videos shared on Instagram are actually Boomerang videos. And so anytime you hear pretty high numbers, excuse me, of sharing going on, it's because that kind of content is actually getting received in a particular way. And again, the Boomerang app can be downloaded from both the Apple and the Google Play Store. The next sort of feature I'd like to talk about is hyperlapse. And the hyperlapse allows you to produce really interesting sort of motion sped up or delayed videos. Many people use these videos to kind of showcase, like, excuse me, my throat's a little dry, to showcase movement in videos. A lot of city streams use this kind of treatment. And so sometimes if you want to, you know, share a video that's a little interesting, you can choose to use the hyperlapse app. And I'll just click out so that you guys can see exactly what that can look like. So let me just go back. I have it linked on the Boomerang slide so that you guys can see, for anybody that's unfamiliar, what that looks like. And this page, actually, you guys, you should definitely check it out because it does a great job of actually showing you the different kinds of experiences. So this would be a Boomerang, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with Boomerang. And again, I'm showing it on a desktop, but to experience the true app, you should absolutely download it from either the App Store or your Google Play Store on your phone, and just have it available and ready for when you're ready to share. This is an example of the hyperlapse that I just mentioned. And this one is only available on the App Store. So sometimes these additional applications are available for both Apple and Android, and other times they're only available on the App Store for whatever reason. Okay. So hopefully this is getting you thinking of engaging ways that you can share your video content instead of just plain old videos. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about layout. Most of us, I think, use layout in our personal lives. It's an easy way to share multiple photographs. So instead of maybe sharing 4 individual photographs or 3 individual photographs, if they are of the same event, or in your case, it could be product shots. If you're sharing this for business, then you can actually create a collage and share it as one post that can be engaging enough. So for those of you who aren't familiar, let's take a look at how you would use layout to lay out your pictures.
Media costs keep rising? It's time to try Taboola. Reach up to 2 billion monthly users.
Okay.
So first, let's open layout for Instagram. Right here, I'm just on the App Store. I search for layout. I'm gonna just download that. And now that you've downloaded layout, I'm just gonna go ahead and open layout. I'm just gonna go through some of the settings on here. Now I'm gonna press get started. I'm gonna say okay, give access to my photos. And let me just go ahead and pick 3 pictures I'm gonna use in the layout. I'm gonna just choose these 3. And up here it's going to give me some options for my layout. I'm going to choose this one, and I could bring this one right into the top. I could just rearrange the order of these. You have some other options here like flipping it here is fine. You could have borders or no borders. I like borders for this one, and I'm going to press save. And now it's going to save that picture. Now if I just press Instagram, it's going to open that up right on Instagram for me. And this is the picture that I just made in layout. I could press next here. And then I could go ahead and put my description and some hashtags. Now I'm gonna press OK, and then I'm gonna go ahead and press share. And just like that, it's posted to Instagram. Another way is you could just use Instagram to do this. You don't have to open layout and then go through layout on Instagram. Here, if you just press the plus sign to add to Instagram, right here you should see this icon right in the middle here that looks like that layout icon. If you press that, it takes you to layout. So the process could be done this way. So this icon basically opens layout for you. So instead of opening layout and sharing to Instagram, you could first open Instagram, press that, and it opens layout. So you could work either way to get the same result and then get your post on Instagram. I hope this video was helpful. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for a lot more social media videos and a lot more. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video.
So that was pretty simple, right? And you guys, thankfully, we live in times where you can find just about anything on YouTube. So if you ever run into any problems, I mean, there are literally thousands of videos on every topic. And the great thing about videos is that you can actually see what's being done so that you can just follow along and get up to speed with whatever is being suggested. Okay. I'll move on to what I like to think as one of the few real branding opportunities that you have on Instagram. So when we went through Facebook and we actually built the page live, we spoke about all the different sections of the page, profile, the cover image, filling out all of the detailed information, the story section. Unfortunately, on Instagram, we don't have that much real estate to brand our profiles. And so one of the recommended ways, or at least my recommended ways to do this, and I would do it, very early in your Instagram business profile career, is to set up branded highlights on the page that will allow you to categorize your stories based on topic or product or events or anything that you're doing to market your business that you would like to be organized in a way where your viewers can come back and interact with it over time. I know you guys have also been doing Canva workshops as part of this series, and so hopefully what I'm about to go over makes sense to all of you. But if not, I thought that it's important because from a setup perspective, this is definitely, in my opinion, something that should be done as part of the setup and not, after you've had your page for months and months and months or years later, and then now you're saying to yourself, oh my God, I really need to create highlights. If you get into the habit of doing it from the beginning, then it becomes a habit and you will just continue to do it. And it also makes your profile more professional and engaging. So the case for why you should consider using highlights. Instagram highlights covers are a great way to welcome users to your profile. And since they're one of the first things that they see when they do visit your profile, it can be the first impression that actually gets them to return. So there are many programs like Canva that can be used to create profiles, but I thought that since you guys are already taking Canva classes, that I would remain consistent and go through the various ways because it's a little different on Android and iOS in terms of slight differences of how you go about creating Instagram highlight covers. And you can also do it on the desktop as well, which I actually prefer to do. This is one of the few things that that you can do on the desktop for Instagram, and I prefer to do them on a desktop. So let's get started. So this is the way you would do it from the Android app, right? So first you would launch the Canva app on your phone, and I'm sure from your Canva classes that you guys are aware that there's Canva desktop as well as Canva app. So you would launch the Canva app on your phone. You would look for Instagram story under the Explore Canva section, and these are the screenshots here. Hopefully you guys are able to follow along. If you aren't able to find it, then use the search at the top bar here and just type Instagram story or Instagram highlight. So this is for a story or Instagram highlight cover, okay? And you will be able to find it there. All right. So you can choose to use either pre-designed templates, or you can create your story and highlight covers from scratch if you want to. And so these are the options that you will usually see in terms of choosing whether you want to. So you can either use a template or you can use a blank slate and add your own branding and colors and all of that good stuff. So again, this is the way that it looks on the Android device. So if anybody is on an Android device right now, your Canva screen, so remember now we're working in Canva, your Canva screen should be looking very similar to this. All right. Now, if you select a blank template, which I'm guessing that most of you would want to experiment with so that you're able to add your logo, your brand colors, this is what it looks like. It will just be white. And here is where you would be able to change colors, add fonts, add your logo, add images, or anything else that you want to do. You will then be able to tap the plus sign at the bottom of the screen, and hopefully somebody's following along so that you can actually, because a lot of this stuff, when you just look at it on the screen, it seems simple, and then you sit down to actually do it, and it's like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. So the plus sign at the bottom right of the screen actually gives you additional options outside of color as to what you can add to your cover. So is it text? Is it an image? Is it logos? And all of these things, as you should already know, can be pre-uploaded to Canva. So then if you want to create more covers with the same background, which is what I would recommend because you want your profile to be branded, right? You would just hit this icon right here, which is like a copy icon, and it will actually replicate the last cover that you made. And so at that point, the only thing that you may want to keep consistent would be the background color, assuming this is your branded color. And you would probably want to change whatever the animation or text or whatever is on the cover. And so you would just, select that, the element that you want to change, and then change that. After making the covers, you definitely want to save them. You don't want to have to go back and start from scratch, especially if you're thinking of, doing this repetitively. Some people, I look at their pages that are really built out, and they have like 20 highlight covers. And it just looks really nice. So you definitely want to save your initial attempt anyway as a template at least, so that you can always go back and have some really good building blocks for moving on. So that's what it looks like on an Android device. And this is what it would look like on an Apple device. Presentation is just slightly different, but pretty much the same process. So again, you would launch the Canva app, tap on Instagram, and you would find either story. So they showcase the story, but then if you're making a cover for the face of the page, you would just select Instagram highlight cover, and the process is exactly the same. Again, just a little difference in terms of the presentation. You can use to choose a blank template, or you can choose one that's already set up for you. Same process if you're starting from blank, which I think most people would like to, so that you can brand the profile or the story. You start from blank, you select your coloring, Again, adding elements, whether they're text or images or videos or illustrations, same process as in Android. Same process for making duplication so that you can create several covers at once. And of course, having to save. Okay. So if you have existing covers and you don't want to start from scratch, okay, you can just simply search for Instagram story highlight cover and then use the templates that are embedded in Canva to sort of customize. So you would do this if you're still working on your own branding, or you're thinking of changing it, or you don't really have any sort of concrete branding, but you still want to create covers that are professional and look nice. I usually recommend that you create your own branded covers, just because every business should have its own look and feel. But if in the interim you need to use one of the templates, then that's absolutely fine as well. Does anyone have any questions about that? Creating highlights, branded highlight covers, whether it be for stories or for the actual profile of the page. No questions? Do you guys agree with the benefit of setting them up that way? To make the profile more attractive and professional? You can feel free to unmute yourself if you like. You guys are quiet. I know it's Monday morning. You're probably still asleep. I don't know. Okay. And so you can go ahead. Hi, LaShawn.
How are you?
I am great, thank you. Have you tried to create covers in the past?
Not yet, but I will.
Right. I think they're a great way to kind of, make your profile stand out, organize your content in a, an attractive way. And what I found with clients who have, so the story covers will disappear with the stories, but the highlights live on the page. What I have found with clients who have highlights, branded highlight covers on their pages, is that their engagement actually goes up because people are interested to see what's behind the cover. So they spend more time on the page clicking through to see what the content is about. So it's definitely something that you should try. Okay, and my preferred method of creating highlight covers is actually through the web version of Canva, just because from a design perspective, and I don't do too many of these, but whenever I have to do them myself, whenever, my designers can't get to it and I feel like, okay, I can just do this really quickly instead of holding the movement of a creation of account up. I find from a design perspective that it's always easier, at least for me, to do design or setup work on a computer. So my preferred method is usually to go to Canva, the web version, and actually create the covers on the desktop, download them to a folder that I can access on my phone, because again, updating on Instagram is mobile based, and then just housing them in, say, like a Google Drive folder or maybe a Dropbox folder that's accessible in my phone, and then just uploading them that way. Or if you have the Canva app on your phone, you don't even have to do that. You can just upload it directly from the Canva app, because anything that's saved on the desktop version will also be saved in the app version. And you guys probably learned that already based on what you did in your Canva class. Does anybody have any questions about that? Did anybody here take the Canva class? Or is this just complete gibberish? I know there were two Canva classes. Yeah, LaShawn, I know maybe you didn't,
but it's pretty easy and to use. But I've never taken the class, but it's pretty intuitive, I think.
So yeah, it is. It's very easy. But as part of this particular series, I know that there were two right, Galena? There were two Canva classes that were offered.
Yes.
So I'm
Facebook and
right, for Instagram, right. So hopefully anybody that followed the series from start to finish was able to actually take advantage of that, because and even if you didn't, like LaShawn is saying, it's pretty user-friendly. All right, so what I'd like to do here, I added this video as a supplemental slide, but what I'd actually like to do is to go to my own Canva account and show you guys in terms of navigation how easy it is to create Instagram, the covers themselves, and then also to highlight them and how they look, how they look once they're actually added. So let me just go out, and this should be my Canva account. Let me close all of these extra tabs that I don't need because they slow things down. All right, so this is exactly what you would do if you were creating, and I'm not going to do a story cover because they disappear anyway, but it's the same process. Actually, everything I showed you before was the process. For some reason, they show you how to make story covers. We are going to do the highlight cover. So this is the content that actually lives on the page. And the reason why I want to showcase that is because unlike the stories, they don't disappear. So very easy. You can just go in the search bar in Canva and do Instagram. Let's see if it'll just pop up, if it'll guess what I'm looking for. Instagram story, Instagram post. All right, so I'm just going to say Instagram highlight cover. There you go. All right, so just like we saw on the mobile version, right? There are the blank options, and they try to guess what a small business, the kinds of categories of content that a small business may have. So tutorials, try this out, projects, quote of the day, not quote of the day, workouts, the kids, favorite travel, health. You know, they try to do a really good job of guessing the kinds of categories that, you know, a small business may need in terms of branding. So again, if you don't have your own branding set up, then you would just select one of these and kind of customize it the best way you can. If you do have your own branding, then, you know, I absolutely recommend that you start from scratch. So let's look at a highlight cover that I did for one of my smaller clients. And then we'll actually go to the page itself and see how those highlights look live. So this is Bedazzling Accessories, and this small business curates accessories from designers of color. 80% of what's sold are from designers of color. Okay, so this is an example of a suite of highlight covers that I did for this business, starting from scratch. So when I selected the template, it was just a simple white template. The image in the background is actually a picture. I don't know if you guys can see it. Can I make this a little bigger? All right, so the image in the picture, if you see it right here, is actually a picture of she was at a trunk show. So here it says Bedazzling Accessories, and this was the display table. And I thought that it would look nice to use that as the background for the highlights. So you can do cool things like that. It just doesn't have to be a plain white background or a plain pink background or a plain whatever. If anybody's paying attention to the detail, which is something I would do, I'm sure most people are noticing this, then they would see that this is actually a picture that is in the background of the highlight cover that's being used at the basis, as the basis for the template. So let's go back out. That's a little too small. So these were all of them that I did. And so the categories were Buy Black for Black-owned businesses, daydreaming, and we can look behind the covers and see what's behind them. I won't spoil it for you. Bedazzlers, Henna Vibes, Dope Things, Sale Things, She Works, Networking, and Meet the Makers. And so these were the initial 9. And as you can see, it's very easy. These are 9, and this was just done at setup. You know, it's very easy to, you know, you just need another 9 more and you're pretty much at 20. And it's a really nice way to organize your profile, make it interesting, and get your users to actually spend additional time on your site. So this is how, you know, you would do it. And you don't have to use background elements. I just kind of pulled animations and I kept it consistent in terms of, with a few exceptions. Some of them are actually her picture in terms of how I decided that I was going to set up the profile and lay it out. Does anybody have any questions on this? Has anybody actually tried to do a highlight cover and had any issues or?
Not yet, but I think I'm gonna try to practice one of these.
Yes, it's just a lot of fun. You can spend all day, so be careful because it gets addictive. And so now this is the profile that those covers were created for. And as you see, even though the covers themselves are like vertically aligned, what happens is that when you upload them to the highlights, Instagram kind of like pre-selects the main image as the icon. So if we go from like here, this is what they look like when you design them. And when you upload them to Instagram, they just show up as really pretty sort of icons in the profile. And so even if I didn't know about this business, that's me. Even if I didn't know about this business, then when I got to the profile, I would be curious as to what's behind these highlight covers. And so additionally, because I know I'm using stories and highlights interchangeably. So your stories, and there's a reason for that. Your stories on your page become your archived highlights. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that. So when you post to your stories, you can actually, as a prelude to the content that you're posting, you can choose to upload this as a story highlight, which is why I think the directions call them story highlights. And then follow the highlight cover by whatever that content category of content is. However, remember, a story disappears after 24 hours. So if you don't want that story to disappear, you then turn it into a profile highlight. And this is where you're actually able to save the covers and save the stories with the category that should I say, here's where you're able to store the covers, and the corresponding content is what I was trying to say behind them. So let's just take a look behind a couple of them so you could see. So this is her by black.
I hate the word this generation when they have
this selective indigo style is a boutique I believe in Brooklyn.
Excellent. But I am coming back.
Products from black designers, independent designers. So that was her by black. Daydreaming. And the great thing about the stories is that they just keep following each other. So daydreaming. The Dazzlers. These were some jewelry event that she had. Henna vibes. She had a henna party at her store when she had one. Dope things. This is a bag line that she carries in the store. Networking, self-explanatory. Meet the Maker. So these are two of the designers that she actually features in the store. Okay, so you get the idea, right? It's a great way to actually categorize. Oh, and these are some new ones. She Works, which is her picture, and you can mix it up a bit. This is just showcasing her being out and about, sourcing, displaying, right? Just gonna keep going in order. So I'm just gonna do style on a fly. This was some work that was done with a micro influencer. So this woman has a style blog, and so they did a collaboration with some of the merchandise. Hopefully they'll be doing more because she's very popular, so she would bring really good exposure to the store. Sale things. As you see, these look at this, 101 weeks. So this is when this highlight was just set up. And as you see, over time, you can just keep adding content. So you don't lose the content. It's saved here forever if you need it to be. And it's a nice way of bringing a new customer up to speed with what you've been doing. so that they can see that you actually have business that's been around for a while and doing well. You can add videos to them as well. All right. All right. Holiday promos. Again, this was 37 weeks ago. So it's a nice way of, every time I see that, I laugh. It is a really, really nice way of showcasing what you've been up to over a longer period of time, right? Because they're going to be your long-standing fans, and then they're going to be fans who just find out about you today. And so if they're curious as to whether, your business is a legitimate business, then this would be the way for you to showcase that. In addition to having, a really interesting lineup of content that lives on the page, because as you know, as you post more things, they disappear on the profile. And if you guys are wondering why I'm on the page, these earrings she actually named after me. They're called the Patia, so of course I had to buy them after that. And so I took a picture for her to repost when I bought them, and I received them in the mail. So that's why I'm on the page, aside from working with her. All right, does anybody have any questions as it relates to highlights? Anybody trying to do it live now? Or you guys are just going to wait until you get the presentation, which is fine.
I had a question based on, is it possible to for people to be disengaged when using highlights cover, or it's more of a benefit thing? Because I want to know the pros and cons towards it.
Well, the thing about them, so if you notice, right, once you start going through them, they just keep going, right? If for whatever reason the content isn't engaging, you can just exit out, right? You don't have to engage with them. But the thing about it is creating some sort of mystery. So as you see, not all of these have covers, but for the ones that don't have covers, it's kind of like, let me see. It actually increases engagement on your page. It's kind of like, oh my goodness, let me see what's going on behind the cover. And so most people tend to engage most in the stories and right here. And if they like what they're seeing between these two places, that's when they start paying attention here. So because it's the first thing that you see on the page, it tends to draw more attention. Does that make sense? So you would have to decide based on your individual business, what kind of content that you have that you think would actually draw people in.
Okay, thank you.
No problem, great question, and get them to pay attention. And I see a new story just popped up, so let me see what's going on here. Oh boy, new photo shoot or something happening as we speak. That's funny. Yes, so again, this is all about strategy. Hopefully I've impressed on you guys in the time, it's been 5 weeks that we've spent together, that all of these things are tactics, but you have to have a strategy behind it. So you just shouldn't go wild creating crazy covers, that aren't well thought through. Like there should be a reason why you have specific covers, because then you know what kind of content that you're going to organize behind the covers so that the overall message of the page is an engaging one. Make sense? Was anybody familiar with using this method before today?
No, just so.
Okay, perfect. So we're learning. All right, so I'm going to stop my share really quickly to navigate my PowerPoint. In the meantime, if anybody has any additional things that they'd like me to review or go over, because I said I feel a little cheated because of the way Instagram is. So on Facebook, we actually built a page together and we went through all of these things, and we can't really do the same thing for Instagram because so much of it has to be done on a mobile device. So I'm trying my best to showcase everything that I think that's important, but it's not the same as me actually building the page like we did with Facebook.
Tia, can you please review ours account and
your accounts? Yes, we're gonna get to that part. I have that in as part of the a review. So let me just finish up the actual demos that I have, and then I'd be happy to. That would be great. No problem. All right, so let me get back to sharing the screen. Yeah, I like to do those because, you know, when accounts exist, then it's helpful to see what's already being done. And so then I can actually be of real assistance. All right. All right, so let's keep going with that. All right, so we went through Vadazlin's profile. Yeah, I think this video is important just because of the dynamics of actually swapping out the profiles on the phone. So let us take a look so you can see that once you have it in Canva, or once you save it to a shared folder that is accessible to your phone, how you actually add it to the profile, because I'm not sure that everybody is always clear about that. So let us look at this mini presentation so that you can see how you do it on the phone. Again, I'm closing all these extra tabs that may slow things down. I wish there's a way you could like skip them automatically, but you can't. All right. So you see that's where it makes the little round icon.
Thanks so much for watching, and hopefully that was helpful for you. If you have any questions.
Okay, so is anybody absolutely confused as to what she did? I think the key thing to understand is that the image cover has to be in your photo gallery. I'm not sure if that translated the way it was intended. So the image cover, whether you're grabbing it from Canva or whether you're grabbing it from your Google Drive or your Dropbox, needs to be downloaded to your image gallery on your phone. And that is how you're able to select it to add it to the Instagram profile. So, I mean, I understood what she was doing because I know how to do this, but just in case anybody was wondering, well, how the heck did where was she selecting it from? She was selecting the profile or the cover from her image gallery. So it needs to be there first before you can actually add it to the highlight as a cover. So hopefully that was clear. Does anybody have any questions about that? All right. So the last thing that we are going to do together before moving on to the show and tell segment, because I think especially for this workshop, that's the best way that I can actually help, is that we're going to talk about Instagram ads, because you should absolutely focus on branding your profile and adding as much content as possible, experimenting with hashtags. Growing your profile as much as you can organically should be the first step. But sooner or later, you will reach the maximum of all of those efforts, and you will need to move on to doing some targeted Instagram ads, just as I said with Facebook, so that you can maximize the reach of your page to your ideal target customer. And so that's what we're going to go over next, and then I'll take a look at the library's page, and anybody else who's brave enough can share their screen and show me their page, and I can do a review of it. So there are three main ways to do Instagram promotions. You can do it from within the app, you can do it from Facebook, and you can do it from partner sites. And let's just actually go out to the Instagram resource page and take a look at what those options are. This page, you guys, should be your best friend because it really does help you. Now, last week, we reviewed in depth the types of Instagram ads that they are. You guys should have that presentation if you attended. If not, as a quick review, I can just go through it. So there's story ads, photo ads, video ads, that would just be video on page, carousel ads, collection ads, and we went through all of these in depth last week. Ads in Explore. So those are your main options. And last week we actually discussed what the objectives for those ads are and the kinds of calls to action that you should be pairing them with. So if you missed that class, I highly recommend. It will be hyperlinked in the presentation when you receive it. But if you just go to business.instagram.com/advertising, you can do a quick review of what we covered last week yourself right here, and then move on to what we will talk about now. So the first option, like I said, is within the app, okay? And so from Instagram itself, and we'll click through and look at each of them a little bit before moving on, you can set up an ad campaign. And these are the criteria that you can set up ads based on. So of course, location, demographics, interests, behaviors, custom audiences, lookalike audiences. If you guys attended my Facebook classes, we went through custom and lookalike audiences in depth. And also automated targeting. So automated targeting speaks to the knowledge of Instagram itself. And so based on the kind of profile that you have, based on the usage of your followers, based on what's going on with other pages, Instagram will intelligently recommend or place your ads in the feeds of people who they think would be interested in your business. Very similar to Facebook, the considerations fall into 3 buckets: awareness, consideration, and conversion. And the goals, as a quick refresher, would be awareness to drive awareness of your product and service, which if you're brand new is what you would be doing. Consideration is pretty much inviting your audience to explore and find out more about your business. And so you would be looking for additional clicks to your actual website, video views, and looking to expand your reach and frequency. And of course, conversion speaks to converting all of this great traffic and engagement into actual money or app installs. All right. And so this is the first way that you can set up an ad campaign. And if you're sitting down to do this, you can actually click Learn More. And I wouldn't do this, of course, today, especially if you're not following along. But here is a great step-by-step guide that you can follow as to how you would set up your pricing, your duration, and how you would create the ad specifically from Instagram itself. Then there's the Ads Manager way, which is the way that I actually prefer. Like I said earlier, Facebook bought Instagram a few years ago, and so now you have the benefit of being able to set up Instagram ads through the Facebook Ad Manager and maximizing your ad spend. So of course, you would have to have connected your Instagram and Facebook business accounts together, which we went through in the beginning, in order for them to share the ad budget and the ad spend. Again, in terms of goals or criteria, before the goals, criteria that you can set up the ads based on, pretty much the same as what we saw. Here you do get a more detailed overview of exactly how the ads will perform in the Facebook Ad Manager. So maybe I can make this a little bigger so you guys can see. And this is what I'm referring to here. Facebook actually tells you if your audience is too broad or too specific. If you're going to be setting up your ads through the Facebook Ad Manager, this is where you want to be. Right in the middle. You never want to be skewed to too broad or skewed to specific. And Facebook will tell you your audience is well defined. And so that's how you know you're on the right track. And here it will actually tell you the estimated daily reach on both Facebook and Instagram. Maybe I should make this a little bigger. Right? So that is the benefit of using the Ad Manager. And this is why I prefer this, because it's not only dealing with what's going on in Instagram, but both. So you can see based on however this ad is set up, that the estimated daily reach is 1,300 to 3,000 people on Facebook and 640 to 1,700 people on Instagram. And again, the business goals are pretty much the same. And I would highly recommend, if you guys have never done this before, to use these resources beforehand, especially the resources by Instagram and Facebook themselves, because they know their networks best and they really do give you great advice, in addition to any YouTube videos that you can find. All right, so that would be how you set up your ads on. Let's go back. It's not allowing me to go back. That's how you would set up your ads on the Facebook Ad Manager. And then there's a third way, hold on, which is through Instagram partners. And this is where you can ask a partner that is certified by Instagram to help you. And if you're really unsure and you think that, oh my God, I'm going to make an absolute mess of this, then you can actually reach out to an Instagram partner. Now I'm thinking about it. Maybe I need to become an Instagram partner and have one of the Instagram partners actually help you to set up the ad campaigns for you.
Is it a fee for this?
I'm not sure. Like I said, it just occurred to me, why am I not an Instagram partner? So I'll have to do some research, Galina, and get back to you.
We also have a question from Alexandra.
Okay.
What is the average price to create the ad?
Okay. Creating the ad costs nothing. Aside from Instagram partners, because I'm not really sure, I'm going to research this program myself. My guess is that if you use an Instagram partner, you would probably have to pay the partner agency to help you out. But if you were doing this yourself, there's absolutely no cost to you but your time, right? So you would have to sit down, figure out how to do it, put the ad together, use some really great creative. Now, once you want to run the ad, that is when the money comes in. And you can start with, you always set your own budget. So you can start, if you want to try, with as little as $5 a day, just to see how the ad works. Is it giving you a return? I would not give up before a month of doing this. Many people run an Instagram ad for a week and then they're like, oh, this is not working, I give up. You have to be willing to invest in these things. It's an investment in your business. And so, you know, if you're going to do $5 a day, budget in your head, that's going to be what, $150, and let it run for a month. Because the thing about marketing in general is that it's all about repetition. It takes 9 to 12 exposures for even a qualified member of your target audience to actually take action. So over the series of a month, that can very easily happen. If you just give up after a week, you know, you kind of didn't even give yourself a chance. So I would say, I guess the answer is a good starting budget would be $150 to $200. And then based on that, you can, you know, make decisions upwards or not. It's up to you. But actually setting up the ad, if you did it yourself, costs nothing. Does that make sense?
Yep. I actually missed another question from Alexandra when you did highlights. She is asking, is it possible to disengage someone when using the highlight cover?
No, actually it's the opposite. Because there's mystery behind the highlight cover, people actually pay attention more because they want to see they want to see what's going on behind the cover. So it's a good way of them taking more action. And if you look at any of the big brands who are very active on Instagram, especially in the, you know, beauty fashion space, they all have highlight covers. If you want to know if something is a good idea or not, look to see what the big brands are doing. If they're doing it, trust me, they're doing it for a reason. And last week, actually, when we did the best practice part, we looked at some pages live that were using all of the best practices that I recommended, and highlights was definitely something that we saw across the board. Highlight covers were definitely something that we saw across the board. Branded, of course, branded, attractive, you know, with strategy behind them. So yes, it actually has the opposite effect. It gets people to pay more attention and engage more with your page because they want to see what's going on behind the cover. Make sense?
Yep.
Any more questions before we move into the show and tell phase? Before I take a look at the Instagram profile of the library. What is the handle, Galina?
Harrison Public Library.
Okay, pretty simple.
One word.
Okay. 2 R's, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Should come up because I think I'm following you. Harrison. Yep, there it is. I'm not following you. Oh, I think I'm following you on my business page. This is my personal profile. I'm like, I know I'm following you. Okay, so I see highlights, which is good, but now we need to create some covers for these. And see here, just you have to categorize what the highlights are about.
Okay.
So the first thing I would do is, are these 2 history quizzes? So this looks like some duplication. Yeah, so I would just create one history. Wait, let's go back. So the category is history quiz, right? So you don't need to have more than one history quiz highlight. So the category would be, no, I don't want to unfollow. The category would be history quiz. And then you would, well, it's probably too late because it's hard to, no, can you reorganize a highlight into something else? Yes, you can change it. So you would create one history quiz and then you would combine these 2 and then you guys can come up with some really nice branded covers for all of these categories. So the first one is, maybe we can come up with the names together right now. So history quiz is definitely one of them, and I think for a library that's brilliant. Okay, what is going to be the name of this highlight? Maybe this could be like virtual learning or e-learning or learning from home for this one, Galina. Okay. This one is about what? Census. So maybe you can just call it like census information or something. That's a good one for a library to have. Book genres or something, maybe we can call that one. They're going really quickly. What is this one? This one is Harrison Strong. So is this just about like the neighborhood or something, Galina? What's this one?
I think it was Memorial Day.
Memorial Day. Okay. Okay.
I guess we can delete it.
Yeah. And a lot of times, yeah, sometimes clients come to me and they have them, and either they need to be consolidated or some of them just need to be deleted. Book drop open. So that's definitely dealing with the whole COVID shut-in situation. So maybe it could be like COVID updates or something. And like you just categorize everything that has to do with that in here. So that was the book drop one. We looked at that one already. What is this? Curbside, so that could go into your COVID bucket, right? Happy 4th of July. So maybe you can create like a national holidays or something and put the 4th of July and Memorial Day ones in one highlight.
Okay.
Right? And if you wanted to just start fresh and just delete these, is fine. Or you can recategorize the ones that you have. Yeah. So then once you decide what the content's going to be, then you just create some really nice covers with your branding, your brand colors. I think that would look so nice. Like I can see it already. I can see them already with the names, right? You have to remember to name them or else people are not going to know what the content's about. And that would look really great right there. Does anybody have any ideas as to other categories that they can possibly create based on?
Probably put new books, new arrivals,
exactly.
Popular programs. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Small business tips, right? Small business tips. Nice. That was for today. I'm going to repost it on my page. This is what I was doing this morning. No, you guys, and in terms of your content, like I said, I follow you guys on my business profile. I think the content is spot on. It's appropriate. It's attractive. It's engaging. So it's just a matter of branding the profile a little better. And I think that would do the trick. Absolutely. Does anybody else on the call have any feedback for Galina, the library, in terms of what you're seeing?
We would like to reach more people and younger people.
Right.
We're not doing TikTok because we're trying to master in Instagram because we don't have any graphic designers. It's all our staff. So your program was very helpful.
Yeah.
We learn a lot. but and TikTok is kind of controversial. So
yes,
it's
it
not,
is. We don't know what's going to happen with TikTok within the
yeah.
next couple of weeks, months, who knows.
But I would like to reach younger people,
Right.
and probably moms more with school and everything, and learning pods and learning at home. So we need.
Yeah. In terms, you can start doing that by posting a lot of e-learning stuff and using the trending hashtags. Because there's a whole, that's like a whole new world now as of March, and everybody is looking for new information. So that would be the starting point, to just create, a nice series of e-learning content, and then just, using the hashtags that everybody is searching with to attach that to the content. And that's one way of definitely being found, because especially as September draws near, we're all, me included, as parents with, having to go back to e-learning, going to be looking for help as to how to deal with it. Not only with helping the kids, but keeping your own self sane, because it's a lot. So work from home and still try to make sure your child attends their own classes and all of that great stuff. So, another thing, Galina, maybe you guys can also consider creating an IGTV channel. We spoke about that last week, because this is a way of creating longer videos, and also you can actually create like an IGTV series. So if you wanted to attract, say, mothers or caretakers dealing with e-learning, you can have like a series of short talks or tips, or somebody talking about an expert or somebody, or even moms themselves, right? That's one way to get them involved. Do a call for moms to give other moms tips on how they're dealing with e-learning. And then you can create an IGTV channel and organize the content into a nice little series. That may be a way of doing it.
That's a
And
great idea.
then it would show up here. So it would be post tagged and then IGTV. Oh, let me think of who has a great IGTV. I think last week we looked at different kind of business, but I think Sephora is the business we looked at, and they had one. Let me see. Yep, right here. So you see how they have their IGTV thing that shows up, and you see again, case for the highlight covers, right? People want to see, especially the new. I'm sure this is probably their most looked at highlight cover. And so when you go to the IGTV channel, you see the videos can be as long as 10 minutes, right? And it's a better way of engaging the audience. Right? So that might be an effort that you guys can, focus on for the fall.
Sorry, could you teach a class on that channel?
Yes, you can. Well, I mean, you don't want it to go on forever, but you could do like tips. Tips and tricks maybe, I think, would be more appropriate, because if you notice, well, this one is 24 minutes, so maybe, but if you notice, like a class tends to be like an hour long. I'm not sure attention span wise how successful that would be, but I think like a, quick tips and tricks, or, a quick demo of something, I think that could be successful, absolutely, on IGTV.
Patia, one question. So
yes.
I know you have YouTube. Now this IGTV, it's kind of like YouTube, right?
It is, but it's YouTube on Instagram. That's the best way I could explain it. Yeah, so it's like they're coming out with their own brand of YouTube, you know what I'm saying? And so the benefit is that you don't have to leave Instagram to engage with this content. You just engage with it on the platform itself.
And so like when you're linking people to your Instagram videos, so you can actually do this like as an embedded video if you were doing it in email marketing?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can send them the link.
Okay.
And it would depend, well, let me qualify that. It would depend on who your email service provider is. Most of them would say just embed a YouTube link, but my guess is, since this is increasing in popularity, that for some of them, it may begin to be an option. Or you can just simply, in text or use a screenshot of this and then hyperlink it and send them back here. But I think because most email service providers are used to either video or YouTube, Vimeo or YouTube, they tend to ask for those as links, but I think that that's going to change. But you can always just hyperlink it and then just send them back to your channel. But it may not be embedded in the way that I think that you're envisioning it based on what I'm used to seeing, yeah. Or we are all used to seeing in email marketing campaigns, yes. Makes sense. A lot to think about, right? Like all of this stuff is great if you have the time and resources to do it.
No.
And you know, me included, you know, I'm all marketing, small marketing agency owners. We call ourselves the cobblers with the kids with no shoes, because like we do all this great work for our clients and then we don't have the time to do it for ourselves. So trust me, guys, I totally understand, you know, the struggle myself of being a small business owner and, you know, going to these classes and learning of all the things that you should be doing. And in the end, what I will say is that, you know, attack it piecemeal. Like, you know, choose two things every quarter that you're going to accomplish, get it done, and then move on. You know, don't feel pressured or overwhelmed to do everything at once because it's really difficult to do it. And what you don't want to do is to have a situation of starts and not finishing, or, you know, it discourages you, you feel overwhelmed. And then since all of this stuff is public, the last thing that anybody wants to have as a small business owner are profiles that are not professional looking or looking half done or half, you know, like you just started and you forgot about it. So, you know, the start is taking classes like this to learn the best practices. But then in terms of reality and the actual implementation, I would recommend that you take your time and, you know, decide exactly what can work for you. So anybody else that would like to be brave and share their screen, this is your last chance. And don't be embarrassed because, and I'm going to turn my video back on. Don't be embarrassed because, you know, this is why we're here today. There are no, you know, stupid questions or bad questions or whatever people tell themselves as to why they don't speak up. And I'm here to help. So anything is fair game.
All right,
Anybody? Perfect. All right, so let me stop sharing mine. Go ahead.
Okay. It says host disabled attendee screen sharing.
Oh, wait.
I'm
Okay,
getting
hold on.
that message. That
Okay,
pops up.
try again. That's weird.
Okay, it comes up now.
Perfect.
All right, so. Oops. Right, so here is my Instagram.
Okay.
And let me go to the home page. All right, so this is the home page.
Yeah, click on the profile. Click on that. It should take you to the actual profile.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. So I love your color scheme, by the way. Something about pink, black, and white. I don't know. It's a little girl in me. I always like how that looks together. So you do have an IGTV setup. Let's see what you have there. Show us what you have. So you give us a tour of the profile, and then I'll give you feedback. So you don't have a video. Okay. Okay. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? What are you thinking of putting up on your IGTV?
Probably like maybe like tips and maybe like practice videos of how to like do maybe some of the decorating and, you know, like.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. All right. What do you have in your saved tab? So this is good. This is great because you guys can actually see the different things. So most people don't use their saved tabs on either Facebook or Instagram. I use it a lot personally for Instagram on my personal profile, and I'm starting to use it in my business profile. So anytime you see content that's really great or from a competitor or like a best practice or whatever, you guys just go ahead and save it. because
Okay.
this is an easy way of finding, referring back to whatever it is going forward. And so when you save it, you can also create what they call collections. So I don't know if you've done this, Lasan, or you're just saving it. So say, for example, you can start saving the content of your competitors and save it into your competitor collection. And so everything that you put there, right, over time, if you wanted to go back and say, oh, let me see what they did last year for Valentine's Day to get some ideas or to see how I can do it better. That's why I'm always looking at competitors. How can we do this better? Then you would just go back to your saved tab. You have your competitor collection and you just click on it, and you will see all the posts that you've saved over time from your competitors. Similarly, for maybe it's like cupcake idea designs or something, right? And so over time, you're able to actually create a really great archive of content that you like for whatever reason it is. You can also do the same thing on Facebook, but I think it works even better on Instagram, just because it's so visually stimulating and you can easily remember why you saved something. So that is one feature that I think is an overlooked feature, that everyone, yes, exactly. What's in your tagged section? Okay, so
all my stuff.
This is where this is where you were tagged or somebody tagged you. So this is a great way to keep track of your user-generated content, meaning the content that your users are actually resharing about you. And sometimes if you have a personal page and you're tagging your own business, which I think it looks like here, then you can also see, where you're tagging yourself. But but the benefit really of using this would be to harness the power of your customer reshares so that you can then reshare it on your profile to say, look, I have happy customers and they actually posted about me, right, on Instagram. So that's right. That's the benefit of the Save tab. Okay. All right. So let's go back to the main page, just the regular posts.
Okay.
And let's talk about, no, just a cupcake, click on your cupcake. So your home page, this is where you see the feeds of everybody you're following. I'm interested in your page specifically. Let's brainstorm on some of the highlights that you can create though.
Okay.
So maybe, I know you make vegan cupcakes because you made some for me once. So that can be a category, right? Vegan recipes, and you put all of the pictures of your vegan products under there. What else? What are people? So the great way to figure out what your highlight should be, think of frequently asked questions. In your case, what are the most popular cupcakes people are asking for? Is it specific flavors? Do you make special cupcakes for weddings? Do you make special cupcakes for birthday parties, right? So think of your business and your customers and what they are asking of you. Because many times when we think of it from our perspective of business owners, we completely miss the mark because we forget, even though it's our business, it's not really about us. It's about the customer.
Right.
So with that in mind, and again, I'm a customer, so I know you make vegan cupcakes, right? So that was my recommendation. There are a lot of people who don't make vegan cupcakes. So your vegan recipes could definitely be one. What else would you say would make a good highlight category?
So we have gluten-free. We do that too.
Okay.
And we do specialized flavors. So like the pumpkin spice for,
fall.
Fall.
Okay. So maybe you could do like fall flavors or something, and then just put everything under that category in there. Okay. What else?
And then we do catering. Like a lot of people know us for our cupcakes, but we do catering.
Okay.
Or, corporate events.
Okay.
Or, birthday showers.
Perfect. So you see here how this becomes a very important marketing tool, because I've known you for a while. I didn't know you did catering, right? But if I happened upon your page one day and I saw that highlight cover, I'd say, oh my goodness, LaShawn does catering. And now I'm looking to see, right? So the highlight draws you in, but I also want to see proof of this.
Right.
And so if you had been, I know these pages are new, but if you had been chronicling all of your catering events over the years, like we saw with the accessories shop, 101 weeks ago. That shows longevity. Like, I've been around, I've been doing this. And so going forward, my advice to everybody was that you really start doing that, because this is like the proof that you are a legitimate business and that you know what you're doing.
Okay.
So your homework, and I'm going to look, and I have your personal email, so I'm going to email you like, I don't see any highlight covers yet, LaShawn. So your homework, and everybody else who has an Instagram page, and Galina, we spoke about yours as well, should just sit down and brainstorm. And it doesn't have to be 10 or 20. It could just be 5 really strong categories that will help your viewers to learn more about you as a business, and also to showcase your work, because at the end of the day, that's what really draws people's attention. Does anybody else have any other recommendations for LaShawn that they'd like to share, or thoughts or things that popped into your mind as you're looking at her profile?
I would add more pictures. You have a lot of like stock photos,
right?
Like your flyers and everything, but I would definitely add more pictures. And professional baker to professional baker, the side views when you're doing the cupcakes come out better than the on top of picture.
Okay.
Yeah, great. And I'm seeing it right here with the pretty, what is this, peach and chocolate and whatever that is on the screen, as opposed to the other ones where it just looks flat, right? But this one right here, like, you can actually see the dimension.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And like, can you go back down?
Okay.
So the one with that's on the flower plate, I found, and again, this is my experience, that a plain cover plate highlights the product more. And I'm not very good at it. I wish that I was better at it. But find a way to like put on there the flavor of the cupcake and like in text, because then you're doing 2 things. You're showing a picture, and you're also saying like what flavors you can do.
That's a great idea. That's an absolutely great idea. See, you guys, that's why it's important to not be shy and and show your pages, because then you can get great feedback like this. It's nothing to be embarrassed about at all. Like, we're all here to learn.
Yeah.
And definitely on the stock photography, LaShawn, I think when you attended the Facebook class, I said the same thing, like, try to use more real pictures as opposed to sort of clip arty stuff, because people want to see your real product, right? So that is definitely a good recommendation.
One more thing, the tagline, "Made with Love," find a way to add like a heart or something into your logo. If "Made with Love" is part of your like tagline, you could add like a little heart or something.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. Great advice.
Okay.
Anyone else that wants to give LaShawn feedback or wants to be brave and show their page?
Yeah.
Okay, when I'm looking on my phone, I don't see highlights. This is only in browser. This is how it's supposed to be?
No, you should be able to see it on the phone.
No, I don't. I'm going to different pages and to this one. I don't see highlights. I see just posts. I don't see LGTV, like anything, just posts.
Maybe they don't have highlights on the page. Did you go to, wait, hold on. Go to Sephora, because that's the one we were just looking at. You don't see the highlights?
I see in browser. I don't see on my iPhone when I'm going to app.
That is very strange. Is anybody else having that problem? Because I'm not. And you shouldn't have that problem, because the whole point, remember, this is a mobile-based app. So in fact, you see more on the phone than you do on the browser.
But I don't see. I don't see. This is I don't know why. Maybe it is like setting on my.
No, as long as a page has content, you should be able to view it on the mobile device, because this is a mobile app. So it should have nothing to do with your phone or special settings. You should just be able to see.
On my iPhone.
Can you guys see my, because I have you see, this is the Sephora page on my phone. Oh, I have to put my hand behind it because I have my green screen up. Do you guys see? I see the highlights on my phone. That's how it should look.
I don't see on mine.
Is everybody else seeing the highlights on their phone?
Yeah, well, mine says story highlights, but it doesn't have any because I don't have any. But
Right.
it has the plus button to put a new one if you want it.
Right. So go to everybody. So I'm concerned about this because I don't know what's happening. If everybody can go to Sephora's page, since they're a well-known brand and they have everything set up the way it should be, and everybody should see.
Yeah.
On the Sephora page, we see posts, followers, following. And they're whatever with their link. Then it says view shop. That's the next thing you should see on the phone. I'm looking at my phone. Then it's follow, message, calls. And right under that, you should see the highlights that we just saw on the screen. It says just drop hair care, skin care, makeup, and it goes on and on and on. And then you should, right under that, you should see the IGTV. You should see the shopping. You should see the videos. Is everybody able to see that on their phone? Yes? Okay. So I'm concerned to the person who is not seeing it. Are you the person who was not seeing it on your phone? Are you able to see it for Sephora? Because sometimes pages don't have it, and that's why you don't see it.
I don't see for Sephora as well.
Oh my goodness.
I see just posts, nothing else.
You just see the post on their page. You don't see anything else? That's very strange.
Maybe it is setting of my application.
That's unfortunate because I feel like you're missing the entire experience of the page. Can you turn your camera on and put your phone up to the camera so I can try to figure out what's going on for you?
Okay, let's see. Yeah, you see me. Okay.
Yes, I can see you. So if you can hold, sometimes it's difficult, like what's happening with me. Yeah, because of the background. But if you hold your hand behind the camera like I was doing, we should be able to see it. Take your time. It's not a rush. We still have a few minutes. Okay. All right. And that's the Sephora page, and she doesn't see. Yeah, I see that you don't see the highlights. That is so bizarre.
And this is with everything. Any page.
For all pages, you don't see it.
Yeah, for all pages.
What version iPhone is that? This is the first time I'm hearing of this. What version iPhone is that?
7, maybe. 7.
Yeah, I don't think that affects. Hold on. Let me Google this because this is a mystery to me. I mean, 7, so we're at like what, 10, 11 right now. So that's 4 versions back. But I feel like, okay, can Instagram, the good thing about Google is that you can find anything. Can Instagram highlights be seen on iPhone 7, you said?
Yeah.
iPhone 7 devices? Maybe it is a thing. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, where are my Instagram? Why are my Instagram sites not showing? Why don't I have Instagram highlights? Now, everything I'm finding is troubleshooting based on the person that's trying to publish the highlights, but they don't say anything about somebody not being able to view the highlights. Okay, okay, Instagram highlights not loading. Heart. Let me see if this takes me down the right road. They're different. Really quick, restart phone. No, this is for somebody who's attempting to publish the highlights. In terms of the viewing experience, I don't know. Send me an email when you get the presentation. You're gonna have my email address, and let me try to figure that out for you, because I feel like that should not be happening, and I can't tell while it's happening. But you know, if that is the case, then you're like missing so much of the experience of using Instagram. Yeah. That should not be happening at all. So bizarre. No problem. No problem. All right, guys. So anything else before I let you go? It's almost 12:15 and you get 15 minutes of your day back. I know it's Monday and we probably have a lot to do. Any questions? Anything? Okay, so let's do this. Let me go around the room since this is my final time with you guys, and I'm curious to know, what are the top 3 things, having attended, whether you attended the entire series or you just attending this class today for everyone, what are the top 3 things that you're going to actually go back and try to implement after attending this series? So I'm going to start with Raisa. Is that the way you say your name, Raisa? Yes. Okay, perfect. What are the top 3 things that you're going to try to change or do having attended this series, whether it's the entire series or just today's workshop?
I attended entire series.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So what are you going to try to implement?
Yeah, I was trying to do test for testing in Facebook and Canvas and Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. You're breaking up, Raisa. I can't hear you.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Okay, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Okay, Nora, I'm going to call on you next.
I definitely picked up some stuff with the Instagram. I used to do the Instagram stuff quite a bit, but I kind of cheat, and if I post it on Facebook, then I like automatically post it to Instagram.
Right.
And,
Right.
I think I need to be a little bit better about posting on both separately.
Right. Right.
And yeah, I learned and got a few ideas from other things.
Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Definitely have enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Alexandra?
Hi. I actually work with LaShawn, so I was taking some notes. So
Okay.
but and this was my first time in this meeting.
Okay.
But other than that, like with Canva, I enjoyed learning about that and the highlight.
Right.
Because I didn't really I have an Instagram account, but I haven't got into doing all of that.
Right. Right.
So I'm gonna try to get into the aspect of trying to get more young people to look at our pages.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. I'm glad you learned that. And then there's somebody that says, I'm a gymnasium.
Yes.
Hi.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
Basically, I would I would probably change cover page on cover logo on my Instagram.
Okay.
And basically post more often. Yes. Actually, how often it's good to make a post, like a week, for Instagram and Facebook?
Right. So this is the thing, right? Instagram, I would say at this point, if you were going to post daily, if you could post daily, I would push that energy more towards Instagram, because at least if you're like hashtagging and, mentioning people and that sort of thing, you still can get a decent amount of organic exposure. On Facebook, however, I think 3 times a week is more than enough unless you're doing ad campaigns. Because at the end of the day, unless you do ad campaigns, Facebook limits your organic reach. And so it kind of doesn't make sense to be posting 5 times a day on Facebook and having no one see it. I don't know if you guys pay attention to your Facebook analytics, but even if you have like 1,000 fans, maybe 100 people, if that much, are seeing every post that you make unless you do an ad campaign. So it really doesn't make sense to waste time posting too much on Facebook unless you're running ads. However, Instagram is still a little different. Like, you still can get pretty good exposure based on your hashtag method and how you're tagging people. Are you resharing user-generated content? So I would say if you did Facebook twice a week, do Instagram 3 to 4 times a week. If you do Instagram 5 days a week, do Facebook three times a week. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for all the series, and
No problem.
I wasn't available at 10:30 in the morning, but I'm gonna go back and watch the recorded sessions. Yeah,
that is great because if I'm correct, Galina, it's all on YouTube, right? So you
yes,
guys
it's actually posted on our website, so it's very easy to find if you go on our page, harrisontl.org, and it's right there. And I also email to all participants after every session your slides and record it.
Perfect. So if you missed me live, you can still see me recorded, I guess, right?
Well, we see that a lot of people view it after.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. As long as it's doing its job, it doesn't matter if it's now or afterwards. All right, so that's all that I had. It's been great. It's been 5 weeks. I've enjoyed doing this, and hopefully we'll do it again at some point in time, Galina. And that's all that I have. If you wanted to close it out, I'll turn the stage back over to you, and then everyone could get on with the rest of their day.
Oh, I just wanted to say that I have implemented your recommendation for the image in the background for Facebook.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes.
And the others, I will definitely add those highlights.
Okay. Perfect. Good. Yay. Somebody took my advice from Facebook. Wonderful. All right, Galina, the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much. It was very informative. I learned a lot. I need just to sit down and
and do it, right? That's the thing. Right.
And also my staff
right
will review it, and we will correct whatever we can correct.
Right.
Of course, you need to put time, and you have
that's
to.
The thing. Yeah, that's the thing.
But your presentation was fantastic. Every week you compared. It was very detailed. I'm glad we recorded it because we can go back and watch it. We have all your slides, so it was fantastic. I just want to remind everyone we have a survey. Please answer survey. I shared with everyone. We have an opportunity to get more grant to continue and go deeper into marketing and social media. And of course, if we can get money, PTO, we will reach out to you.
Perfect.
And so just help us with answering questions. It's important because it's a grant. It's an opportunity to get more. We see people participating.
Perfect. Okay. All right, everyone. Have a great rest of your day and your week, and take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.